It's so nice to be here with you. We're going to start with our legs stretched nice and long with our heels down, toes up in the air. And just keep in mind that when you stretch your legs straight, especially if you carry a lot of tension along the back of the legs, which is very common, it will tend to pull you into that tucked pelvis. So sitting with legs straight may be a time to get your hips a little higher, to stack your hips higher and rotate your pelvis. But as I discovered for myself yesterday, you have to be conscious and be careful what you sit your hips higher on because it's easy to slip off as we're moving. So finding the right tools is something that will be really helpful for you in the long run. But today we're going to focus a little bit on reminding ourselves to bring our entire spine into neutral. A neutral pelvis is when the top two bones come forward over the bottom pubic bone. And for more clarity on that, I highly recommend you watch the neutral pelvis lesson in the alignment lessons. And then next, your rib cage relaxing down and back. And then next, your ears sliding back over your shoulders. And those lessons will be coming in time, but we'll still practice them in the meantime. But from here, with your legs nice and straight, open your arms out to your sides, palms face forward. Bring your hands a little bit lower than your shoulders, and then wrap your right arm on top. And open your arms up, and left arm on top. And open up, right arm. Start to tune into your breath as you open, and left arm, and open, and right arm, and open, and left arm, and open, and right arm. And this time hold, wiggle your fingers around a little more, drop your elbows down. From there, twist your belly, just focus on your belly button to the right. Take a breath there. Think, is my pelvis upright? Are my ribs relaxed down? Are my ears sliding back over my shoulders without my chin lifting up into the air? Neutral spine is the spine that you see if a really little kid, baby, almost baby, little kid, plops down on the floor and they're just sitting there relaxed. You will see that they naturally align themselves with their spine in neutral. Unwind your belly and then open your arms up. And take your left arm on top, wiggle your fingers around, drop your elbows down, and turn your belly button. And through research, we've seen that in a lot of indigenous cultures, they keep this neutral spine throughout their lives because they don't have the modern habit patterns we have. But a lot of our spinal issues, anywhere from your lower back up to your neck, stem from consistently moving and being out of neutral alignment. And there's really two kinds of people. Go ahead and unwind your body, open your arms up one more time. Right arm on top, wiggle your fingers around, drop your elbows down. This time drop your chin down to your chest. So there's one person who, due to their body, have so many tensions that it's hard for them to get into neutral alignment. It's hard to sit upright with the pelvis. It's hard for the ribs to relax down, or they barely feel these motions happening, or they can't slide their head all the way back over their ears. Go ahead and bring your head up, open your arms up, and cross your left arm on top, wiggle your fingers around, drop your elbows down, and then drop your chin down. And the second person is someone who can pretty easily move their pelvis back and forth, move their rib cage, and move their head, but they often don't realize that throughout the day, they're not spending their time with their body part in neutral, especially when they're relaxing. And breathing here. So everything we do here works for both sides of the equation. We're trying to come closer to neutral and stabilize there and move from there. And the movements we do help so it's easier for those who can't get into neutral to get into neutral more easily. And then lift your head up and open your arms out and then relax your arms down. From here, sitting up, pelvis upright, ribs relax down over and over, ears gently slide over the shoulders. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder and then reach your left hand gently down to the floor. Bring your head up nice and slowly, drop your left ear over to your left shoulder, and reach your right hand gently down to the floor. And head comes up and right ear to right shoulder, and reach your left hand down ever so gently. And head comes up, and drop your left ear down and reach your right hand down ever so gently. And then bring your head up, and you'll circle your right arm up and over into a side bend, lengthening through the shoulder, the elbow, the wrist, and the fingers. And then switch to the other side, lengthening through the shoulder, the elbow, the wrist, and the fingers. And then just at your own pace, go side to side a few times. Are your legs still stretching long? Breathing here, feeling into the sides of the ribs, the back of the ribs. Okay, next time we do the left arm, just pause after that, no rush. And then from here, do the best you can with your heels down, your toes up in the air to spread all your toes apart and relax your toes. And spread them apart, and they might not move at all at first. You're just doing the best you can. Keep bringing your mind down there and relax. And spread, and if you get really good at spreading, try to then spread in a straight line. And relax, and then spread your toes again. And you might even have to eventually reach down and hold your toes in a straight line, which is what I'm going to have to practice for my left pinky toe. And then relax. All right, bring your arms down by your sides. And from here, close all your fingers together. And as your hips, pelvis tilts upright, slowly lift your arms without lifting your ribs, fingers together. And then pull your arms nice and slowly straight back. When they're back behind you, spread your fingers away from each other and lift your arms up into the air. And then pull your arms straight back. Close all your fingers together and arms go up without the ribs lifting up. And pull your arms back. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Arms go up. And pull your arms back, fingers together, arms rise up. Take your time, feel all the ranges of motion, and arms pull back. Spread the fingers nice and wide, arms reach up, and arms pull back. Close all the fingers together, arms go up, fingers nice and straight, and arms pull back. And last one, spread your fingers wide, gently, and reach your arms forward and up, and pull your arms back behind you, and then relax your fingers. And you can go ahead and bend your knees here and walk your feet nice and wide with the outer edges of your feet straight, and then let your thighs drop in towards each other, and let your thighs open away from each other. So it's like you're rolling a little bit to the inner edge of your foot and then the outer edge of your foot. Tuning into your breath here. Couple more like this. And then from there, opening your thighs nice and wide. Once again, just checking. Can you get a little bit more upright tilt? Can your ribs relax down a little more? Did your ears slide back over your shoulders? And then reach your arms out to the sides, palms up. And we'll just go up and down by our sides. Breathing, thighs nice and wide, inner thighs open. So we're doing all these movements that help someone who has a hard time getting into neutral to more easily be able to come into neutral over time. But if it's very easy for you to come into neutral, it's probably very easy for you to also slip out of neutral. It's really easy for your ribs to just slightly lift up and you not even be aware of it. So you have to be extra conscious that you're staying in neutral so that you start to use more of the muscles around your joints. That's really the bigger purpose of neutral, is if you can train yourself to move from neutral, then the sky's the limit. Then you can move with your body in all sorts of positions and do less damage over time, and also regenerate your cells in a healthier way over time, which is excellent for your mind and your body. Okay, let's do one more with our arms up. and then let your hands come down. And now do the opposite. Let your knees drop in towards each other. Always feel free to adjust yourself on your chair. Just let them come in as much as possible. If this is very uncomfortable, one thing that could make it more comfortable is put a towel or a block between your knees. Or just skip it if it's painful. Reach your arms out in front of you with your wrist shoulder distance apart. Try to keep your forearms and your shoulders very still and circle your wrist around. So you're trying to circle your wrist without your forearms moving around very much or at all. I mean, of course, the muscles within the forearm will be moving, but the actual forearm is pretty steady. Try to draw a complete circle and then pause and circle in the other direction. And then release your arms down, open your legs, walk your feet in to hip distance apart with your ankles right under your knees in line with those top two ASIS bones. Tilt your pelvis up, right? Relax your ribs down, and then bring your arms out to the side in cactus arms. Try to start with your elbows a little bit in front of your shoulders rather than pulled behind, so you want your shoulder blades to be wide, and then reach your arms up and bend your elbows down. And reach up and bend down. Reach up and bend down, and reach up and bend down. Now cactus rotates. Keep the 90-degree angle and rotate your arm bones down and rotate up and rotate, rotate. 2 more like that. Okay, from here, keep your right elbow bent like it is to the side, and then you're just going to turn your chest to the left, but your right elbow is going to come along. You're gently pulling your right elbow back so it stays in line with your shoulder. Your chest is still turning to the left, and then extend your left arm and bend your left arm. Extend and bend, extend and bend, extend and bend. Now bring your torso back to center, turn your chest to the right, but resist your left arm back so it stays in line with your shoulder. And then from there, keep turning the chest to the right as you extend your right arm and bend. Extend and bend. Extend and bend. Extend and bend. Now bring both of your arms back to center, your torso back to center. Curl your elbows in and open them apart from each other. Curl in and open. Curl in and open, and curl in and open. Now curl in, turn your palms to face you, bring your elbows together, and then from here, if your elbows don't come all the way together, you can stick a block or a towel between your forearms, and slowly, without lifting the ribs, go up and down, and up and down, and up and down, and up and down. Come to center, open your forearms back out to the sides into cactus arms. Now extend your arms long into a love stretch, so extending your wrist fingers point up to the ceiling. Turn your chest slightly to the left, resist your right arm back to the right. And now you're going to turn your left hand forward, bend your elbow into a cactus arm. You're still turning your chest to the left as your right arm resists out to the right. Extend your left arm up and down. Extend up and down. Up and down and up and down. Now extend that arm out. Turn your chest over to the right. Resist your left arm straight out to the left. Bend your right elbow, keep turning the chest, pulling the left arm gently in line with the shoulder, and lift the right arm up and bend, and up and bend, and up and bend, and up and bend. Then reach both arms out to the side. You can rest your arms at any time. Drop your chin down to your chest nice and slowly. Roll your neck a little bit over to the left. And then roll your neck down through center and a little bit over to the right. And then bring your chin back through center and lift your head up and flip your wrist down and let your arms come down by your side. Okay, you're going to put your left hip into the center of the chair and keep your left ankle under your knee in line with your hip, and heel toe your right leg out to the side. Now you're only going so far that you can open this thigh, but that your body doesn't turn with it. So keep the body and the pelvis mostly facing forward as that thigh opens. Watch the foot. So if the knee only goes so far, don't turn the foot farther than the knee. Try to keep your toes in line with whatever angle your knee opens up to. And then from here, open your arms out to the side, palms up, ribs relax down, rotate your arm bones all the way one way and all the way the other. And do that a few times. Keep the ribs relaxing down and breathing. Okay, then from here, take your right arm up and over into a side bend. Gently open your right thigh like it's opening behind you. And then as you bring your right hand down, you can gently hold your right thigh open as your left arm goes up and over. Let's do that a few times, side to side. So, right arm goes up and over. And then right hand comes down. You can use it to open the thigh a little as the left arm goes over. And right arm. And left arm, and right arm, and left arm. And then bring your hand down, and from there, extend that leg nice and long. Try to turn your toes forward and be on the inner edge of your foot. Your hip, your knee, and your ankle are about in one line. And then from here, point your ankle and flex your ankle. Point and flex. Point and flex and point and flex. And then take your time, wiggle your leg back in, and we'll switch sides. So take your time wiggling your foot in, put your right hip in the center of your chair, your right ankle under your knee in line with your hip, and then heel toe, the left foot out to the side as far as it will go without the pelvis turning. So try to keep the pelvis rotating forward, and then reach your arms out to the side, ribs relax down, and rotate your arm bones. You know, in this process, in this journey of learning to realign our bodies, and of course do it all day long and move more often throughout the day, it's a patient practice, but I can't be enthusiastic enough about it. You know, I'll come up with little bumps and things that I'm figuring out in my body, but over time of doing this, my body just keeps feeling better and better. It keeps feeling more mobile, more stable, and I know so many others that are having those same results from these practices. So be patient with yourself, be persistent, but you really don't have to be aggressive as you're practicing. Reach your left arm up and over, which is sometimes the hardest thing for us to realize in our minds. Go ahead and bring your hand down, open that thigh as your right arm goes up and over. And then left arm, because we're so used to thinking that movement has to be intense to be beneficial, and that's really not the case. And we can feel really good in our bodies as time goes on. And I do admit it is a patient, sometimes very patient practice, but the results to me so far are well worth it. Okay, from there, extend that leg nice and long, turn your toes forward. If it's not too uncomfortable, be on the inside of your foot, leg nice and straight, hip, knee, and ankle in line, and then point your ankle and flex, and point and flex, point and flex, and point and flex, and then softly bend that knee and just wiggle your foot back in, no rush, and you're coming back to your hips on the center of your chair with your ankles right underneath your knees, and you're going to lift your right leg up, but you're going to try to do so without your pelvis going back at all. So keep the pelvis upright, feel like the thigh bones are drawing in, and lift your right leg up, and then nice and slowly circle your ankle, but try not to move your lower leg. So the lower leg stays very steady as you draw a complete circle with your ankle. Not forcing. Go slow, watch the lower leg, and then pause and circle the ankle in the other direction. All right, and then put that foot down. And actually what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that foot and either cross it over your left knee, or if you'd like to, if the knee is not working for you today or you wanna do something different, you can put your foot up on the block and let your knee fall open, or whatever prop you're using. I'm gonna put my ankle over my knee today. Once you cross your ankle, is your ankle relaxed? If your hips are tight and you're trying to just get yourself more into neutral, probably okay for now to just let your ankle be relaxed. But if you can move into neutral pretty easily and you want to stabilize, start working with a more neutral ankle. A flexed ankle, does your inner arch roll up to the ceiling? Push your inner arch forward a little bit. And then from here, with your ribs relaxed down, slide your ears back over your shoulders with your chin parallel with the floor. Nice and slowly turn your head to the right as much as you can without turning your torso. And then nice and slowly come back through center and turn your head to the left. And then let's go back over to the right side, sitting up tall, thigh bones drawing into the pelvis. And once you're looking over your right shoulder, nod your head yes a few times. Soften the jaw, the cheeks into the jaw. And then slowly turn your head and go all the way over to the left and nod your head here. Nice and slowly. Feel the connection from the neck muscles down between the shoulder blades and the upper back. And then come back to center and just notice what happened to your pelvis. If you feel activity and action in your hips, then that's a good thing. You want to keep the pelvis upright, and then release that ankle, sitting up nice and tall. You can switch your prop if you were using them. Lift your foot up as much as you can without tilting your pelvis back. Try to keep your lower leg still as you circle your ankle. A little bit harder for me on this side. My lower leg wants to move. Go slower with your ankle circles. Try to draw a complete circle. And then pause and circle in the other direction. All right, and then you can either put that foot up on your prop or over the knee. First thing you check is the pelvis. Next, if you're wanting to stabilize more, work with a more neutral ankle. And then from here, let's relax our ribs down, slide our ears back over our shoulders, and nice and slowly turn our head. So let's turn to the left without the torso going, and let's go back over to the right. Feel the neck muscles twist. And then again, go back over to the left, and this time turn and stay, and nod your head yes, nice and slowly. And then bring your head back up and rotate all the way in the other direction, and nod your head yes, nice and slowly. And unwind, and then from there, uncross your ankle, and let's spin around for a lunge. Spin around to your right, slide your left leg back, try to get the knee to fall right under the hip, or it might not be your left leg, but knee right under the hip. You can be with your toes tucked under. It's okay if you have a shoe on. You can also be on the top of your foot. Most of us need more deep ankle flexion, so if it's not too uncomfortable, work like this more often with your toes tucked under. And then from here, turn your outside arm, the palm and the elbow pit forward, and pull the arm back and sweep the arm up into the air as much as you can with the palm facing the ceiling. Pull back and sweep up. We'll do 2 more like that. Pull back and sweep up and pull back and sweep up. And then let that arm pull back. Relax by your side. Take that leg that the front of the hip was lengthening and slide it forward, heel down, toes up in the air. See if when you flex your ankle, you pull your toes way back. Can you relax your toes but still keep your ankle flexed? And then only rotate your pelvis as upright. You might not even fold forward at all. You might just rotate the pelvis upright that you can keep your ankle and flexed. A lot of times when we start to go forward, the ankle will start to pull. So it's releasing tension from one end as we put tension on the other end. Try to work with the ankle in neutral and rotate your pelvis any amount with a nice long spine. And I want to promise you that if you're someone who is like, I can't feel anything unless I go down here, that if you keep working in neutral, you will feel so much more doing less. And you will be activating muscles more accurately in your body. So that's where a lot of the patience comes in. Okay, from here, rotate that thigh bone in slightly. So your knees and toes turn in. The rotation happens from the top of the thigh bone. Keep the ankle flexed and untwist it and rotate forward any amount here. And at least that part of the equation I can say for sure because that was my body. I was always going so deep into everything and I was just like, well, I can't feel it. And in my mind, it was this idea that, oh, I can go deeper because I'm mobile and I need to do that to be able to feel it. But that's really not how the body works. And slowly come up and rotate your thigh bone out, ankle flex. Notice if your ankle's twisted, untwist, and rotate the pelvis forward. The healthier we become in our bodies, the more we feel every little angle of motion. But in a way that feels good. So if you're like, well, I'm feeling every angle of motion, but it feels tense and it doesn't feel good, you're going the other direction, where it's going to, over time, as you create range of motion, it will start to feel better and better. Okay, come on up. Bring those toes back, slide the leg back, spin around to the other side. Slide your knee back right underneath your hip. Let the front of the hip open, ribs relax down, ears slide back over the shoulders, elbow pit and palm face forward, and pull back and sweep up. And pull back and sweep up. 2 more like that. Enjoy the lengthening on the front of the hip. One of the few things we do sitting down that helps that front of the hip and the front of the thigh. Okay, next time you pull your arm back, just let it relax by your side. Slide that leg forward. Start with heel down, toes up, ankles flex, but toes relax, and rotate forward any amount from the pelvis. And then from there, when toes turn in, sitting up, or just at first, just trying to sit up tall in your pelvis. And then rotate your thigh bone the other direction and rotate forward from the pelvis. And then bring that leg back to center, bring your torso upright, bend that knee, spin back around to the front of the chair. If you had your block, you can move it out of the way. And then from here, we're gonna go back to our legs straight, heels down, toes up in the air. With your arms by your side, lift them a little bit above your thighs, open all your fingers, and close your fingers. Lift your arms low, chest height, without lifting your ribs up. Open your fingers and close your fingers. Now the hard part, if you're carrying a lot of tension around your torso, is when you drop your ribs down, your pelvis goes back with it. So it becomes a matter of being able to keep the pelvis upright, but also dropping the ribs down. And same thing with the connection between the ribs and the shoulders. Bring your arms shoulder height. When you drop the ribs down, the head tends to come forward. So it becomes a matter then of keeping the ribs relaxed down and sliding the ears back over the shoulders. Open your fingers and close. Lift your arms a little higher. Open your fingers and close. Lift your arms a little higher. Open your fingers and close. And then from here a little higher, open your fingers and close. And then from there, you're going to bring your hands together. It's okay if they're slightly forward, and hug your elbows in a little and tap. And you can either tap the top of your head or go behind you if you have the space with your muscles and with your head. I have this bun on my head, so I'm just going to tap the top. But whatever you choose, elbows in, tap, and extend. And tap, and extend. Tap, and extend. Tap and extend, and then bring your arms down, bend your knees so your ankles are right under your knees. Try not to scoot your feet back, and if you have to scoot them back less. Watch the thighs, stabilizing hip distance. Lean forward, push down, push your hips back to press up. So we're gonna do a couple squats to the chair, but we're not gonna sit down all the way. You're just gonna tap whatever you feel on the chair and come back up. Check that your feet are straight, your ankles are hip distance. Really sit back, watch the knees going forward, watch the thighs moving particularly in, sometimes out, and slowly lower. Try to feel both sides. So notice if you just feel one thigh touch down. Can you feel both thighs or both buttocks in the same area? And then push your hips back and press to come up. And that's interesting too. Think about it. If your one thigh's hitting the chair first, that means you're always sitting down with a slightly twisted pelvis. So as you sit back, try to tap both sides at the same time. Less momentum, push your hips back, press into your heels to come up. And that's another thing with this process of being patient, is that you'll just start to get new layers. Like I remembered when I went from doing this, going up and down from my chair, and I was finally able to use less momentum. And that was like step one. And if you're not there yet, I promise it will come if you keep practicing. But now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, years later, for whatever reason, this whole process of me getting up and down just started to feel so much more stable in my hips. And so you'll just see these little improvements as time goes on. And that's in some ways, that's the only way the body really changes. So we have to be patient and persistent and kind to ourselves. Push your hips back, press through your feet equally, and let's do one more. And push back to come up, and then come around to the back of your chair. Okay, from there, the back of your chair, put your hands on the chair and walk back, 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs, outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Take a breath here, and then walk up to your chair just a little bit so that you can push your hips back, but that your elbows bend down to the floor. And then you're gonna rotate your elbows out and wrap them in until they point straight down to the floor. Elbows rotate out and wrap in. Elbows rotate out and wrap in. 2 straight legs, elbows rotate out and wrap in. And now keep them wrapping in and re-push your arms back. They might not straighten all the way. And from here, bend your knees, sit your hips back, and pull your thigh bones back. If your knees are going past your ankles, walk your feet forward a little more, just a tiny bit. Keep those elbows wrapping in, bend and sit back, and move your thigh bones straight back. 2 more like that. Bend and sit back, and move your thigh bones straight back. Bend and sit back, and move your thigh bones straight back. And then press into the back of the legs to come up, and use whatever you're going to use for a calf stretch. I'm going to use a thin block, so you can put the rolled up towel or the thin block in front of whichever foot. Your feet are straight, your ankles hip distance apart. The heel of your right foot is down, the ball is up. As long as you don't lose your balance or feel like you're clenching, you could step your left foot into a different position, but it's good sometimes to work a little back, a little more forward, a little more forward. Sometimes as you become able to, you can step your foot farther forward. Let your arms hang by your side with your ribs relaxing down, ears slide back over the shoulders, and rotate your arm bones. All the way one way, all the way the other. You can look down at your ankles here and see, do your ankles, especially the one on the calf stretch, roll to one side and try to straighten your feet so you're at the center of your heels. And then you can check that your belly button is then at the center of your two legs and not slightly veering to one side or the other. And then we'll switch. So sliding whatever prop you're using over, put the ball of your foot up, your heel down, outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance. You can put that outside foot in a different position. And then from there, ribs relax down, ears slide back, and rotate your arm bones. And if you want to pause in any rotation, you can look down and just check, oh look, my ankle does roll out to the side here, and get more onto the center of your heel, and then line up your belly button in between your two legs. Rotation happening from the very top of the arm bones. And then release and come off of there. You can push that block to the side. Now feel free to have your chair nearby for a little bit of stabilization. Remember, I'd much rather you stay in neutral alignment with your feet straight, your ankles hip distance, and your hip weight back over your heels than to balance on one leg and let your feet slightly turn out or your thigh come forward a little bit. Much better to build the strength using support, and then it will almost become easier over time to just naturally stay there without the support. So one thing you could do is you could loosen your grip. Like at first you might hold on tight to get your hips back over your heels, but then over time just try to lessen the grip and use it for less stabilizing to ask your leg muscles to do more work. Push down through that right hip, hug it in, flex your left ankle comes up off the floor, back the weight up into the heel, and then micro little pushbacks with the hanging leg. And they're small because we're trying to stay with opening the front of the hip muscles and engaging the buttocks muscles. And once the leg goes farther back, you start going into lower back muscles. And we want these hip muscles to be the main muscles that are working when we're walking. So create this small range of motion here. And keep backing up the weight into the heel of the standing leg. Making sure as you're swinging, your hips aren't twisting to one side or the other. And then next time your leg goes back, put the top of your foot down. And if you have a shoe, that's fine. If it's not very flexible, it might be hard to get the top of the shoe down. Now, if you easily get to the top of your foot, sometimes you want to come off and just do your toes. But probably for most people, it's easier to just get onto the toes. So your goal over time is to get a little bit more mobility in the foot so you can get more past the toes onto the top of the foot. And then from there, release that foot. Start out with the outer edges of your feet straight. So remember, you're not looking at the inner edge, you're looking at the outer edge. Push down through the outer hip, hug it in, flex the hanging leg ankle, and little pushbacks. The smaller, the better. So small motion, back the weight up into the heel, keep the hips squared, and breathing here. If you're holding on, maybe loosen your grip a little bit. Relax your ribs down. If you start to feel it in your lower back, your swing's too big. And then push that foot back and tuck the top of the foot under, trying to get a little bit more off the toes, or again, if you can easily come to the top of the foot, sometimes you'll want to come to your toes. Keep working on the balancing leg, Is it going out to the side? Is the weight shifting forward into the front of the foot? Back it up. And then release that foot. Okay, come back to the back of the chair, hands on the chair, as wide as they'll go. Walk your feet back, hip distance apart, ankles hip distance apart, feet straight, bend back, and then you're going to bend your elbows, hugging them in towards the floor, and straighten your arms, keeping your elbows hugged in. They might not straighten all the way. Bend, the weight shifts to the front of the feet, straighten back, the weight goes back into the heels. And bend, and straighten, and bend, and straighten any amount. And then with your weight back in your heels, push through the back of the legs to come up. Walk up to your chair, step your feet wide, maybe as wide as your mat or just a wider than the chair. If you have a straight edge mat, you can line up your feet straight with the mat. It's a great tool to see that your feet really are straight. And then rotate through the pelvis to push your thigh bones back. Great time to practice relaxing and lifting the kneecaps. And then from there, press through the back of the legs and sit back into a wide squat. Try not to let the knees pop past the ankles. Watch the inner thighs, balancing yourself between both legs. And then press into your feet to come up. Step your feet hip distance apart. Rotate from the pelvis. Feel those top hip creases go back. So you're not rounding so much from the spine. It's okay if you do less. To do your hips shift to one side. Is your belly button still in between your two legs that are hip distance apart? And then sit back into a chair pose from here, backing up the hips, breathing. And then from this chair pose, bring your torso up a little bit, step your right leg way back into a lunge. And from here, just drop your chin down to your chest. Relax the back of your neck. While you're looking back, you can check, is your back foot crooked? Because if it's always a little bit one side or the other, chances are that that's a muscle habit pattern that you have when you're doing things, when you're moving around. So straighten out that foot. Front knee's not going past the ankle. Hug the elbows in as you lift your head up. And then you're going to bend your elbows and straighten. And notice as you bend your elbows, your knee should not be going forward. So the knee stays over the ankle and straighten. It's just the upper body. Bend the elbows and straighten and bend and straighten. Push off the front of the front foot, push off the ball of the back foot to step up. Feet straight, ankles hip distance. Sit back into your chair pose. Step your left leg way back. From here, first, just drop your head down. Let the back of the neck hang. Check that back foot. Check the front knee is bending over the front ankle. Breathing here. Head dropping down, and then lift your head slowly, hug your elbows to the floor, just the upper body moves, bend and straighten, and bend and straighten, and bend and straighten, and bend and straighten. Push off the ball of the back foot, the heel of the front foot to step up. Step your feet nice and wide. Perfectly great for you to have your chair in front of you with your feet lined up with each other. Turn your right toes out 90 degrees. So your heel is in line with maybe the arch or the heel of your other foot. And then bend your knee for a warrior stance. Watch the knee. Does it tend to go past the ankle? Either make your bend smaller or make your stance wider. Push long through your back leg. Does your thigh collapse in? Just like a squat, you want to open it with the outer edge of your foot straight. Open your arms into a warrior two position here. Palms up, hands a little lower than the shoulders. Then let's reach our right arm up into the air. Inhale, reverse warrior. Keep stretching from the left buttocks to the left heel. Exhale, bring your hand down to your knee. Reach your top arm over like you're trying to create one long line from your toes to your fingers that are in the air. And then press into your feet to pull yourself up. Turn your right toes in. Turn your left toes out, outer edge of the foot straight. Bend into the knee. Check your back foot while you're here. Is the foot straight? And then open your arms out, warrior two. Breathing here. And lift the left arm into the air. Keep pressing long from the right buttocks into the right heel. Kind of feel for that front leg. And then bring your hand down, and just like we did when we're sitting, you can use this to roll your thigh open a little as you take your right arm up and over, drawing one straight line from your fingers to your toes. And then press into your feet to pull yourself up. Parallel your feet. Your chair is in front of you. Rotate your pelvis. And then let's just do one hip shift to the right, 2 straight legs. And one hip shift to the left, 2 straight legs, backing your hips up. Come back to center, press through the back of the legs. So now we're gonna change up the position of our legs a little bit. Sometimes just getting into the leg position is the hardest part. You wanna scoot your right foot forward and your left foot back a little so that they're not in line with each other anymore. Maybe your toes hit your right heel so the legs are crooked. And then we're gonna do warriors like this. So turn your right toes out, your feet are crooked, bend into your right knee, warrior 2 here. Keep pressing long through the back leg from the buttocks to the heel. Inhale, reverse, your right arm goes up. Exhale, side angle, hand to the knee, top arm goes over. Keep pressing long through that back leg. So very interesting how just a little shift of the legs uses our hip muscles very differently. And then pull yourself up, straighten that leg, turn those toes forward. Now with your left foot a little bit in front of your right foot, rotate your pelvis and push your hips back. So a crooked leg forward fold. Is your belly button still in between your 2 legs? Crooked leg forward folds. And then slowly come up. Now take your time and scoot the opposite foot forward. So left foot a little forward, right foot a little back. Your left foot's a little in front of your right foot. Turn your left toes out to the left. Your right toes stay pointing forward. Bend into the left knee for a crooked warrior 2 pose. Breathing. Left arm goes up in the air. Press long through the back of the right leg from the buttocks into the heel. And then bring your hand down to the thigh. Use it to open and reach the top arm over. Crooked side angle pose. Okay, push into your feet to come up. Turn both toes straight ahead. Your legs are a little crooked. Left foot forward, right foot back. Rotate from your pelvis just a little, moving your thigh bones back. Belly button lines up between the 2 legs. And breathing here. And slowly come up and then wiggle that foot back in. Bring your feet back to hip distance apart. Feel free with your chair in front of you to rest your hands or your chair to your side. Push down through the right hip, hug it in, weight backs up into the heel. The left foot floats up and lift and lower and lift and lower and lift and lower and lift and lower. And then lower the foot down, feet straight, ankles hip distance, push down, hug the hip in, the foot floats up, and lift, and lower, and lift, and lower, and lift, and lower, and lift, and lower. And then put that foot down, bring your hands back to the chair, walk back, actually, let's walk back for just a second. 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs. And then we're gonna flip this. And you're gonna come up, and if the back of your chair doesn't have a hole there, or you're unable to put your foot, or it's just too much, and your leg doesn't straighten, then all you would do is put your right heel down, toes up in the air, and push your hips back a little bit. But otherwise, you're gonna put your right foot on the base of your chair, or the seat of your chair. And then with 2 straight legs, keep pushing down through that outer standing hip. Push your hips back ever so slightly. And breathing. And let's switch. So again, you can just do heel down, toes up, and push your hips back, or foot to the back of the chair. Check that feet are straight, ankles hip distance, and push your hips straight back. And you kind of notice here, if your hip tends to hike up to the side, drop that hip down as you back up your hips. And then from there, release that foot. Okay, from your side, hand to the chair, you're facing your chair sideways. You walk out a little bit with your feet straight, ankles hip distance. Please go slow with this one. This is a deep stretch, and you just don't want to yank on anything if your body's not used to moving in this way. Push your hips out to the side and slowly come in. And hips push out to the side slowly and slowly come in. Hips press out and slowly come in. And hips press out, hold. Top arm goes up and over and back in the air. Over and up. Over and up. Over and up. Pull your hips in. By pushing down, you'll notice one leg has more weight to it. Okay, from the side of the chair, feet straight, ankles hip distance. Lean over, push your hip out to the side a little so you're standing on the leg closest to the chair, and then lift the leg into the air, hips and chest face forward, and lower down. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. And then lift, hold, push down through that standing leg, outer hip. Maybe reach your top arm into the air. Back your weight up into your heel and lower the hand and the leg. All right, let's switch sides. So you can either turn around and listen to my words or spin your chair around, or maybe you're just set up in a way that you can see. Walk away from the chair a little bit, feet straight, ankles hip distance. Slowly at first, hip goes out and comes in. And hip goes out and comes in. And hip goes out and comes in. And hip goes out and comes in. All right, next time the hip goes out, stay. Top outside arm goes up and over, and then just bring it straight up into the air. And reach over and up in the air. Reach over and in the air. And reach over and then push down through that standing leg where the weight is to bring your hips back in. You can decide if you need to walk a little closer, but your feet are still straight, toes pointing ahead. Push your hip out a little bit to the side. Push down through the inside leg. The outside leg floats up. Lift and lower. And lift and lower. Loosen your grip if possible. Lift and lower. And lift, hold, reach out through that leg, back your weight up into the heels. Maybe your top arm goes into the air, breathing. And slowly come down. Excellent. Okay, face the back of your chair, sit back into a chair pose with the outer edges of your feet straight, ankles hip distance, and cross one ankle over as you sit your hips back. You're trying not to let the knee lead the way or the hips to turn to one side. So you're lining up the standing hip with the knee and breathing. Loosen your grip a little maybe. And switch sides. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Sit back, cross the opposite ankle over, sit back. Try not to let the knee lead the way. Watch if the standing leg hip is popping out. Bring it in line with the knee. And then maybe loosen your grip a little bit. Encourage the legs to do a little bit more work. And then come up and let's do a double calf stretch. I'm going to use 2 thin blocks today. You could use 2 rolled up towels. You can do 1 long rolled up towel, an extra rolled up mat, and put the balls of the feet up, the heels down on the floor, outer edges of feet really straight, ankles hip distance. Move your thigh bones back. You can practice rotating your thigh bones into neutral, relaxing your kneecaps up and down here. and then slowly come up and go ahead and step off of there, and let's have a seat in your chair. So if you're moving your props around, be conscious, like do your feet turn out and your knees go forward? So start like watching your alignment, at least while you're in class, and hopefully all day long, of how you're moving things around. And then from here, have a seat on your chair. Extend your legs nice and long, like where we began. Flex your ankles and rotate your thigh bones in and out. Pelvis upright, ribs relax down, ears slide back. Next time you rotate your thigh bones in, hold, rotation from the top of the thighs. Reach the right arm up and over, extend, and reach the left arm up and over. And then from there, rotate your thigh bones out, toes and knees turn out a little bit. Right arm goes up and over. And left arm goes up and over. And then from there, release, bring your feet back to center. And from here, you can go ahead and keep your legs straight. You're going to, with your arms hanging by your side, pelvis upright, ribs relax down, slowly drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Now the key to all of this is that your head doesn't start to come up. So you want to keep relaxing your ear down, but not tilt your torso over to the best of your ability. And then we're going to move the left arm around. So slowly rotate your left arm bone here as your right ear drops over. And then next time your elbow pit and your palm are forward, pull back and relax forward. Pull back, relax forward. Pull back, relax forward. Pull back, relax forward. Turn your hand out to the side. Slowly lift your arm up. And then turn your palm to face forward. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Bend your elbow, keep your ear dropping over, lift up, drop down, nice and slow. Lift up, bend down, and then re-extend your arm, lower your hand down, gently reach your fingers to the floor, and bring your head up. Now, because we just spent so much time stretching out this side, if you dive down and drop your opposite ear to your shoulder real quickly, this muscles could cramp up. So you want to drop your left ear to your shoulder really slowly without leaning the body over. Now we're going to be moving the right arm, arms hanging by your side, pelvis upright, ribs relax down, ears slide back, and rotate your right arm bone. Okay, next time your palm and elbow pit point forward, pull back, relax forward. Pull back, relax. Two more like that. Pull back, relax, pull back, relax. Turn your palm out to the side. Slowly lift your arm up. Go slow. Good. Bend your elbow, palm face forward, and straighten. And bend and straighten. Now bend your elbow, ear dropping to the left shoulder. Lift up, bend down. Lift up, bend down. Extend that arm up, reach your hand down by your side. Gently reach your fingers to the floor. Bring your head back up nice and slowly. Drop just your chin down to your chest. Try to rotate your hips as upright as possible. And then just with your chin dropping down, so you're not really folding forward yet, rotate your belly a little to the right. Rotate your belly a little to the left. Bring your head back to center with your chin dropping down. Almost feel like the front of your throat is lifting up a little, like you're backing up your head as you drop your forehead down. And then rotate forward from your pelvis any amount. Relax your lower belly. And slowly come up and sit all the way back in your chair. And let yourself be relaxed. Let your gaze soften or your eyes gently close. Become very present with your body. Become very present with your breath. Time for observation is just as important as the movement itself. Truly an exercise for your nervous system to patiently and persistently bring your awareness back to your body, scanning your body, feeling your body, allowing your body to go through the process. Oh, excuse me. One of my favorites. An old Cherokee chief was teaching his grandson about life. "A fight is going on inside me," he said to the boy. "It is a terrible fight, and it is between two wolves. One is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, self-doubt, and ego. The other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside you and inside every other person too." The grandson then asked his grandfather, "Which wolf will win?" The old chief simply replied, "The one you feed." Bringing your hands together at heart center. Thank you for feeding the good wolf with me this morning, maybe again from yesterday as well. May we keep working on it together, patiently and persistently and lovingly and kindly, in gratitude for this day. Namaste.